We are in the studio. Okay. Thank you very much for joining me. I'm Mitch Goldberg. You are watching Be the Boss of Your Money. This is my post-market live stream all about investing, personal finance. Let's cut to the chase. The Dow was in a pretty bad place today. Markets were plunging. The day started out bad. Then it was not too bad. And then a deluge, like a fire hose, shooting out sell orders, flooded the market. Dow down nearly 1,000 points to end the day down about 600 some odd points, which doesn't seem so bad compared to the worst of the day. But nonetheless, we've been seeing selling now for the last few weeks. What the heck is going on? What should you do? Please don't panic. Listen to me first, because I see peril. I see opportunity. I see what you should see. So that's what we're going to talk about. Let's roll the quick intro. We've got a really good show today. I've been giving this a lot of thought. I've got a ton of notes, and we're going to go through it right now. So here we go. Let's try that again. I'm sorry. We're going to do that one more time. Gary. Okay. Jerry, you're with me. Judy's out there. A couple people. Stay with me. Just have to see if I could run this crazy intro one more time. All right. Technical difficulty. I'll try to run this in a little while. Let's get to the heart of the matter. Markets came marching in. Investors who, in my opinion, are overindulged in stocks. People's asset allocation is higher than ever into individual stocks. Opened their eyes today. They looked into the abyss and they decided to sell. Was it Evergrand, the giant real estate conglomerate in China that is basically about to fail? Is it the Fed taper tantrum? Is that what we're doing right now? We're having a taper tantrum. The Fed's about to lower the amount of stimulus it provides to the economy, to investors. Lots of things going on here. Stick with me, guys. This is going to be a good show. The list goes on. Okay. Is it inflation? Is it infrastructure maybe not coming to fruition? The infrastructure deal. Remember that $1 trillion infrastructure deal? Maybe we're not going to get it now. Joe Manchin, Senator, Democrat from West Virginia, saying he's not into the $3.5 trillion spending package. And are we going to raise the debt limit again? If we don't, it's a problem. It's a really big problem. If we do, it's a problem long term. Not necessarily a problem long term, but something to contend with. Because the more we borrow now, the less we could borrow later. And the more we have to pay back. So what's the deal? Interest rates aren't telling you there's a problem. Nobody seems to mind borrowing, lending money to the United States. That's why the Treasury, 10-year Treasury, is still only 1.3 some odd percent. There are a few other things today. The budget ceiling, we talked about that. But there are a few good things too. What about lumber? Wasn't lumber $1,600 per however amount lumber is priced at, right? And it was going to destroy the housing market. No new homes could be built, creating an everlasting shortage of new home construction, repairs. And now lumber is down to $400, down 75% in the last few months. What about that? What about energy? Price of energy. Yes, energy stocks tanked today. One of the worst performers of the day, if not the worst performer. We'll take a look at that in a moment. But the cost of oil still held up over 70. If the economy was about to fall off a cliff again, and we're going to have some kind of Asian contagion from this giant Chinese real estate company, oil would be holding up where it is. What about the flights to safety, to the yen, to the dollar, to gold? They barely budged. They went up a little bit. Yeah, look, there are a couple of stocks out there that we have that we talk about that are up today. There are a few things that are up. Not everything was lost today. I mean, don't get me wrong. The downside overwhelmed the upside stocks to like 8-2. 4-1, I guess is a better way to say it. It was a lot worse, though, at about 3 o'clock. But once we got into the last half hour of trading, from 3:30 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, stock started to stage a comeback. I wonder if it'll continue into tomorrow, because right now it looks to me like stocks are mildly, if not modestly, oversold. That is what's going on. We've got a few people out there. You have questions. I might have answers. I can't guarantee it. But ask me your questions in the comments. And if you watch this in the replay, you're watching this tonight and you've got a question, something pops into your head that you would really like to know about, ask me in the comments. I will see the comments. I love hearing from you. It's the best part of this whole show. I love hearing from you. Got a few people out there. John is out there. Jonathan Reed, Levin, I can't believe you're out there. Hey, man, you have the best avatar in the world. You've got the most beautiful children. So Jonathan Levin is out there. I saw your post today, by the way, on, was it LinkedIn or Facebook when you were doing the Trade Nassau show, right? Or was that the Trade Brooklyn? Brought me back, man. Just brought me back so far. Jerry is out there. Hey, entertain me. I'm biking as I listen. Where are you biking? Are you in the Wantagh Parkway bike path? Is that where you're going? If you are, wherever you are, I'm jealous. And Josh is out there. Hey, buddy, it's so great to see you. And John Levin, I want to see if I could find that post that you put up. I'm gonna look for it right now. Okay, I'm gonna look for it because I just, it just brought me back some good stuff. Let's see. Did you? I don't remember where you posted it. Was it on Facebook or was it on LinkedIn? I think you posted it on Facebook. Let me know. I want to check that out again. But by the way, folks, I'm on LinkedIn. Check me out, Mitchell Goldberg on LinkedIn. That's LinkedIn is my jam. I mean, if you think I am into social media on Facebook, you haven't seen anything until you see me on LinkedIn. That is totally my jam. Happy birthday, by the way, Jonathan. All right, well, here it is. I found it. So I'm going to show everybody what I'm talking about. There he is. There he is. Trade Brooklyn. I remember those shows, man. You pioneered these things. That was incredible. See your friends out there. Your friends are the same as my friends. There he is. It's pretty cool. Okay, so let's talk more about today. I'm kicking you off the screen, Josh. There we go. Let's go through one by one what happened today. The Dow opens down about 580. It's panic. About a half hour into trading, Dow's down about 370, 380. Okay, not too bad. Couple of down weeks in a row. We're starting off on a bad foot, but not too bad. Maybe the selling has wrung itself out. But then we're down 500, then 600 this afternoon. By the time it was about 2 o'clock, we were down 800 some odd points. And at that point, the panic started to set in. The floodgate of sell orders hit and liquidity dried up. You know how I know liquidity dried up? Because stocks are down a lot. It's one thing to sell a stock and the stock goes down a penny, but you get a lot of sellers and stocks gap down $4, $5, $6 per share. That's the kind of move when you see that with a lot of stocks, it drops the stock market down rapidly. Air pocket kind of down days, down stocks. Okay. So we've got a couple of things that have held up. And we've got a couple of things that we need to pay attention to. But retail sales have improved. We spoke about lumber. Commodities have been holding up okay. Retail sales came in really strong. People are still getting the child tax credit. There's really not a whole hell of a lot to be upset about. What about peak earnings? That's something that we talk about here all the time. As a matter of fact, if you are a viewer of the show, what was the last show we talked about? It was this. A couple of days ago, stocks are suddenly looking shaky. That was last week. They continue to be shaky. Okay? And that's okay. We're going to talk about that. We're going to get into the VIX and why I think this might not be over. It doesn't matter. Did I do any buying in some accounts today, in client accounts? Yes, I did. I actually entered some buy orders when the Dow is down right near its worst of the day, down about 900 points. I figured, you know what? let me buy some of the stocks I like, and not necessarily cyclicals, but I bought an airline. I bought a food company with a big dividend. And I bought an energy company with a big dividend. It's one of the major energy companies, just to give you an idea. I'm only going high quality, super duper, blue chip stuff. Okay. That I don't want to make sure I'm getting some kind of dividend, because I'm not looking to piss away money, and I'm not looking to make the most amount of money when the market comes back up. But I've got clients who've been selling along the way. And today was an opportunity to put some of that a little bit to work. The market could go up tomorrow, but then it could go down for the rest of the week. It could go down through October. It could go down a lot, but I'll be right there putting cash to work like I said I would. Because we all talk about, wow, if we can only get the opportunity to buy these stocks lower. I wish I bought that stock. I wish I bought that stock. I wish I bought this. I wish I bought that. That is something that we do to ourselves a lot. As investors, we are notorious for the coulda, shoulda, woulda. It's awful to do that to yourself. Let me explain something. You're not getting down stocks and opportunities because things are good. Disney, Starbucks, Nike, Procter & Gamble, JP Morgan, Chevron. I'm just going through a bunch of blue chips. These are popular stocks. Facebook, Microsoft. I'm talking widely held stocks to give you an example. These are the stocks that you may have wished you had. And these are the stocks, excuse me, a little drip. These are the stocks that you wish you bought. They don't go down because they had the best earnings in the best macro environment, the best conditions, everything is optimal, but you're going to get the stock at a bargain. It doesn't happen that way. It's when things go from optimal to suboptimal. And today we have a lot of macro garbage. And that's the thing that investors are missing. So here's the important lesson for today, okay? The macro stuff, the macro stuff is big picture stuff, 40,000 foot view. We look at industrial production, we look at mining capacity, we look at, big national economic statistics. But then you have corporations who are slugging it out. They're trying to make money. They're guided by management who are motivated people. That's the missing ingredient. You see, that's the secret sauce. The stock market is about people who are managing companies. It's not about the macro picture. Don't get me wrong. I know sometimes the macro picture deteriorates so badly, like what happened from 2007 to 2009 in the last major crisis or during the COVID pandemic. But if you saw what happened with the COVID pandemic, the macro deteriorated, recession, the stock market went up to new highs. Yes, it dipped about 38% in a couple of weeks. Fastest downtick of that magnitude in that short amount of time ever. And then it recovered, and it's just been new high after new high after new high, because the stock market measures the performance of big companies, of Target and Walmart and Costco and the other stocks I named. Those companies are important, and they live on their own separate island. It's almost like they're from a different universe. They don't care. They're like the honey badger. You ever see the honey badger? Costco don't give a shit. Oh, some economic statistic, a lousy housing number. Costco don't give a shit, homie. Costco goes up when things get bad because there's no other place to go. Amazon? Oh, the economy stinks. Everybody has to stay home. Yeah, but everybody has to order everything from Amazon, right? Screen stocks. Remember that, my homies. That's what this is all about. Let's go back to camera one. All right. Let's take a quick look, quick gander. Pop myself up in the corner. All right. I'm in the corner here. If you're watching this, great. If you're just listening, then, no problem. You could just listen to this, and I'll just explain everything I'm looking at. So first, let me show you my LinkedIn profile. I know I just said if you're listening, but I just, you could see me now. I'm live on my LinkedIn profile, but go check me out there if we're not connected to, on LinkedIn. Okay, let's go to the stock market now, and let's make the screen a little bigger. I'll read this to you what I'm looking at, so you could actually just listen and not watch. But the Dow down 614 points, down less than 2%. The Dow doesn't. Any of the major averages don't really get my attention until they're down about 1%. At 1%, you get my attention. At 2%, you've got my undivided attention. Over 2%, I'm watching. Okay. But you know what I did today? This is something that you might find unique. A friend of mine I spoke with before, he said, "Oh, your day must be nuts." And I'm like, "Yeah, I got some paperwork back from a client. I have to change the bank for the client's 529 plan. So when he takes out money and sends it to his checking account direct, when we ACH the money, it'll go to a new bank because he changed banks." So I did that. I returned about 15 calls. Hey, I'm going to be on News 12 tonight, so I'll post that later, but I'll be on News 12. So I did that. Did a bunch of trades for some, client accounts. Like I said, I was doing some buying for the right clients, individual stocks. What else did I do? I prepped a little bit for the show, right? Checked in with a couple of clients and their financial plans. Had nothing to do with today's stock market. These were calls that we had on the calendar. These were appointment calls. I went to visit someone today. My day didn't change. I didn't change a blessed thing today because the market went down. And look, as a financial advisor for over 30 years, I want to tell you, my day doesn't change because the market goes up or down. It doesn't mean anything. I'm not saying it's not important. Don't get me wrong. I'm not being glib or not taking it absolutely seriously. But what I'm saying is that I'm not changing my life because the stock market went up or down today. Make this about personal finance. So the market went down today. If you're 35, 40 years old and you put money into the market, where you're in the market already, good for you. A down market is your friend. I have news for you. If you're in your mid-50s, a down market is your friend, because people retire later and they're living longer. It's the down markets when the money is made. The up markets make you feel good, but the down markets when you make your real money. Okay. That's, you want to plant the seeds. You can't just harvest every day. Through those days, you have to plant the seeds, water the plants, watch them grow, and you have to have a lot of patience. I hope that analogy is not too cheesy. Okay, Filippo's there. I bought the dip. And Filippo, did you get the Mo? Well, I know you wanted MO at 40, which would be really awesome. But excuse me, a little drip. Vagaries of life. Mo actually held up pretty good today. I know you and I talked in the comments before, so I'm glad you bought the dip. And that's what makes you an investor, by the way. Okay, you don't get emotional about it. And I love the picture of you on Facebook with Mary, by the way. That was beautiful, and I love to see more of that stuff. Okay, I didn't get any Mo yet, waiting for it, and that's why being patient pays. What I do is I've been buying stocks I've been wanting to buy, but I bought a little. If they go down more, I could buy a little more. If they go back up, then I'll have to, maybe look for something else. But I'm super patient. Okay, so let's get back to the market. Okay, what else? So the S&P was off 1.7%. Nasdaq was off 2%. Gold was up barely, up 14. Gold. To me, the line in the sand for gold has consistently been 1800. It's 1766. Oil held up okay. Yeah, it's down, $1.27, but still over 70. The U.S. 10-year Treasury still in the 1.3s. Let's take a look at the Russell 2000, down 2.5%. That's this one over here. Okay, down 2.44%. That's a lot. That's a pretty good beating. Okay, the NYSE composite down 1.78%. All right, so there you go. It was messy today. It was definitely messy, but I don't consider today to be a disaster. The Evergrand real estate deal in China. How many of you have heard of Evergrand real estate in China before today? You know, I've been following it, and it's been a knock on Asian markets, but for us, it's a non-event. So let me explain something. Contagion. That means when something blows up in one part of the financial markets or one part of the world financially, it affects other areas. The only way Evergrande really affects us is, in my opinion, Chinese investors who are getting hit with margin calls because of Evergrande are selling what they could. So they're selling American stocks and they're selling crypto. And to me, that's about as far as a contagion goes, and that'll probably end pretty quickly. As far as investing in Chinese stocks, I don't know why you would. I've never been a fan of Chinese stocks. I'm not a fan of Chinese stocks now. You saw how China is basically repatriating their companies. It's not what stocks are for. Okay, I don't even know why China has a stock market at this point based on their actions. All right. So energy holding up. Lumber has come. Lumber. I'm thinking lumber like my back. Lumber has come back down. Okay, are we at peak earnings? Peak earnings. We could be, but keep in mind there are so many stocks that are down 20% or more. Again, the reason we've had these rolling corrections, industrials get hit, then energy gets hit, and small cap stocks get hit. All right. Consumer discretionary stocks get hit. But the reason you haven't had this big 5, 10, I shouldn't even say 5, when I talk big, 10% plus correction in the major averages is because you've got a handful of mega cap tech stocks like Microsoft, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Google. They've been holding up pretty well. They're finally starting to give up the ghost a little bit. And that's where you're starting to see the major averages finally reflect what's been happening in the rest of the market. We've been talking about that, right? The stock market has been reliant on just a fistful of stocks. So if you're an index investor, like in the S&P 500, right, you have an index fund. You can't invest directly into an index, but you could invest in a security that tracks or mimics an index like the S&P 500. You haven't noticed how bad the deterioration is underneath the surface of the S&P 500 because you've got a handful of stocks that have been holding it up, but that seems to not be the case at the moment. The taper. The Fed wants to taper. The Fed buys $120 billion worth of bonds every month, pumping $120 billion of liquidity into the U.S. banking system, which hopefully means that banks are lending money and pumping that money into the economy, and it keeps the plumbing of the economy functioning. It's like sending extra water through the pipes just to make sure nothing gets clogged, putting a lot of pressure in the pipes. Do we need it? No. Everyone has been saying, when the Fed tapers, we'll be fine. The Fed will give us plenty of advance notice. But you know what? Now that we're at that point, investors do want to step back for a second and take a deep breath and make sure this is what they want. It's kind of like saying you're a tough guy, but then when you get into a fight, you're like, maybe I am a little scared. I'm a little nervous, right? Beer muscles. And all of a sudden, you're in the fight. The Fed's about to taper. And I think we're just seeing a shift of people deciding, let me rebalance a little bit because we're so heavily into stocks, especially baby boomers, by the way. So people rebalance, and it's just going to create a bout of selling until we get through it. When do we get through it? In about a week, 2 days, and 2 hours, and about 8 minutes. Now, seriously, I don't know exactly when we get through it, but we'll get through it. Could be a month, could be a couple of weeks, could be a couple of months. But I know this. The best time of the year is October through March. That's the best period, actually through May for stocks. So we're about to go into a very strong period. You don't want to give up the ghost now. I mean, if you're a long-term investor, this is all BS anyway, right? But I want to make sure you're doing the right thing and you're not getting out of stuff, okay? So there you go. And my man, Filippo, I love these analogies. I'm full of analogies. Thank you very, very much. Filippo says, if Bobby gets low enough, I might bite based on fundamentals, but I agree China is terrible. Listen, it could be a trade. Anything is tradable. Non-fungible tokens are tradable. Everything's tradable. Sports betting is booming. We could trade anything. That's the beauty of today, right? And one more from Filippo. Market isn't going anywhere. I tell everyone that, but incrementally. All right, I'll buy it. And thank you. So what else is going on? I hope you're feeling better, by the way. So the debt ceiling. It's an artificial number. The debt ceiling could be raised. I don't like fear, like people who are, fear mongering. So, if we raise the debt ceiling, it's all over. It's not all over. You don't want to not raise the debt ceiling and default on your debt. Okay, you have to change things gradually, incrementally. How we get there, I don't know. But in a Congress as divided as the one we have now, we're not getting there today. So you might as well raise the goddamn debt ceiling and not cause a calamity for everybody else. All right, it's not going to hurt you if we raise the debt ceiling. It's not going to make the country go bankrupt tomorrow. It's not going to make the country go bust and go to zero anytime. So raise it. And we'll fix it after. But you don't wait till you get to a crisis and then try to fix everything at once. It's got to be incremental. I was talking to you about this, by the way, my day. So today, I did a bunch of things, but I did the things that I had planned to do today anyway. The clients I spoke to, the clients I saw today, the paperwork that was processed, speaking with my assistant, all of these things. News 12, as I said before. But I'm not in any crisis mode. There's no crisis mode here. It's the day in, the day out. That's what I'm good at. The day in, the day out. Control the things you could control. Let everything else fall by the wayside. I'm controlling. And I don't try to control too much because I know as I've gotten older that control of everything is a nice illusion. And then when you get older, you become disillusioned. And then you get a little bit older and you accept. And it's a really good feeling. It kind of happens when you turn about 50, by the way. And that's the greatest thing about turning 50. So many of the things that you cared about that were so important to you, you turn 50 and you're like, it's not important anymore. It goes away and you get real. It's actually an amazing thing. And that's what I tell people who are dreading turning 50. You've got something really amazing to look forward to. You're just going to drop so much baggage when you turn 50. It's going to be great. You wait and see. Okay. So what else? There was a lot of froth that already came out of the market. SPACs and crypto. SPACs have already taken it in the chin. The SPAC market has been basically wiped. Crypto, for the most part, has gone down a lot from its all-time high, with the exception of Ethereum. But, there's a lot of cryptos. So I'm not saying that all cryptos are created equal. They trade as an asset class because when people buy or sell crypto, they do it indiscriminately. They're not differentiating between, let's say, Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, and that other one, that joke, Dogecoin. Doge. Gotta buy the Doge, bro. The Doge. So I lost my train of thought. I have such bad ADHD today. It's crazy. All right. But we've already seen a lot of the speculative excess come out of the market. So what about the big ones? We have to take a look at these stocks. Let me just show you, pop myself up in the screen here. Okay. Let's take a look. Here's what Goldman Sachs tells its clients to buy during tough markets. Okay. JP Morgan's trading guru, Kolanovic, says market self is technical, represents a buying opportunity. Okay. I talked about Kolanovic. If you recall, in March and April, especially April of 2020, he was out there saying we've bottomed, buy stocks. I was out there saying it too. And a little before him, I just want to say, and I have it on tape so I can prove it. But, he's the guru and he's saying buy now. And Tom Lee of Fundstrat says, don't sell, use this as a buying opportunity. I don't think what happened today in the last couple of weeks in the market is a death knell. And if you're prepared for it, by having some cash in the sideline or by having cash that you're going to need in the next few years on the sideline. This is a non-event. And Evergrand real estate in China, it's like the biggest international non-event I've ever seen. All right. Let's take a look at the watch list. Utilities. Winner of the day, still down on the day. You know, it's a tough day when the best performing sector is only down a little. What was at the bottom? Energy, but that's energy stocks, not the cost of energy. The cost of energy, oil, did not go down 3%. It was off like 1.7%. Financials, communications, building materials, technology. Very few stocks were spared, but nonetheless, there were plenty of stocks that were up as well. All right. And last thing I want to look at are the FANG M stocks, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, NVIDIA. I took Netflix out of my FANG M stocks and replaced it with NVIDIA. It's a much bigger company. But if you look here, Apple, Amazon, everybody's down between 1 and change and 3.5%. That's why the market went down. But are you going to stop advertising on Facebook if you're a business? You're going to stop buying things on Amazon? You're going to stop using Amazon Cloud or Microsoft Cloud? I use Microsoft Cloud. It's like the best thing that's ever happened to me. I'm telling you, if you're in business and you go to the cloud, all you could say is, wow. That's how you can work from anywhere, because everything that you would normally save on your iPad or your computer is in a cloud account, and you just log in. It's all encrypted. It's very safe, and that's just such a great way to work. All right, so I am not deterred. I'm not perturbed, and I'm not disturbed by what's happening today in the market. I don't want to use hyperbole and say these are all the bad things and we're not out of the woods yet and the Fed has to do this and Congress has to agree on that. We've been here before. We get through these things. I made a commitment to you guys a long time ago. I once got really negative in a show and I felt like I was maybe, playing to the downside too much. I'm like, you deserve better. We need to look at the opportunities, because I want to be known for the opportunity ahead, not for, the trade just for today. Okay. One more comment out there from Philly. Hold on. I'm trying to find the mouse. I've got so many screens going. Philly says, no one has control. The moment you stop to resist the change, beautiful things happen. Embrace change. That is so beautiful, man. And so true. You are a wise man. I want to thank all of you for joining me today. If you have any questions that you think about after this live stream, hit me up in the comments, send me a DM, say hello, and we'll keep on keeping on. All right. May tomorrow be a better day. Ciao.